Episode 44. If the Sabbath was temporary, why will all flesh keep it in heaven? Key text, Isaiah 66:23. And it shall come to pass that from one Sabbath to another shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. If the Sabbath was temporary, why does God say all flesh will keep it in eternity? Isaiah 66:23 doesn't whisper. It roars a truth that Sunday worshippers can't erase. And it shall come to pass that from one Sabbath to another shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. This verse is not a suggestion. It's not poetic. It's not symbolic. It is prophetic, global, and eternal. Let's break it down. It shall come to pass. It will happen, no debate. From one Sabbath to another, a weekly rhythm remains. All flesh. Not just Jews, not just Adventists, but every redeemed soul in heaven shall come to worship before me. It's not optional. It's divine appointment. So let me ask again, if the Sabbath was nailed to the cross, if the Sabbath ended at Christ's resurrection, if the Sabbath was merely Jewish law, why is it part of the future God is preparing for the redeemed? Did God resurrect an abolished law just for heaven? Or was the Sabbath never abolished in the first place? The answer is undeniable. The Sabbath was never temporary. It was created in Genesis 2:2-3, before sin, before Moses, before Israel, when God himself rested, blessed, and sanctified the seventh day. It was woven into the fabric of creation. And it will echo through the courts of eternity. That's why Jesus said in Matthew 5:18, "Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law." Heaven and earth still exist. So does his law. So does his Sabbath. Now think about this. If you reject the Sabbath now, how do you expect to joyfully keep it in heaven? If you mock it, neglect it, or call it bondage, why would God bring you into a kingdom where all flesh honors it? Are you preparing to live in God's eternal kingdom, or are you clinging to man's temporary traditions? Because Revelation 22:14 doesn't say, "Blessed are they who follow the crowd." It says, "Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life." The Sabbath is not man's idea. It is God's seal, his weekly reminder that he is creator, redeemer, and king. In fact, Sunday worship was never commanded by God, not once. It is a tradition of Rome, not scripture. And Mark 7:7 warns, "In vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men." Let that hit you. In vain. That means your worship can be real in emotion, but rejected in heaven. So here is the eternal truth. If you plan to walk in heaven, you better start walking in obedience now, because the same God who created the Sabbath in Eden, wrote it in stone at Sinai, kept it as Jesus, and preserved it through the apostles, will still be honored every seventh day by every saved soul forever. The Sabbath is not obsolete, it is everlasting. So stop following the crowd, start preparing for the kingdom. Because one day soon, all flesh will gather, not on Sunday, not on Friday, but on the seventh day, the day God called his own.